Are you ready?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the John Peckman podcast. We are live here in the Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance podcast studio. This is take number 2, and you're never going to hear take number 1. So let me go from there. All righty. Hey, with us this evening, ladies and gentlemen, we have Miss Anne-Marie Cannata McEwen, okay? And hi, Anne-Marie, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing great, thanks.
Oh, thanks so much for coming over.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, awesome. This is such a privilege. And again, John's a little under the weather tonight, so I'm going to be filling in as host for his Tuesday night podcast this week. So anyway, we'll get going. But Anne-Marie is the executive director of the Buttonwood Tree, which is in the north end of Middletown. So, and tell us how you got there. I understand in doing some research, Anne-Marie, that you had a few career changes in the road of life, so to speak. So tell us how that went.
I did. I will spare you the full length of all the careers that I've had. However, going from motherhood to being a dental hygienist full-time, and then I left that due to a latex allergy, and I went into the food business, which I had been in with my family for a little while, doing fairs, and we did the Durham Fair for 7 years, which was a lot of fun. And then I wound up on in a mobile food cart on Court Street for a couple of years, which really introduced me to the community, and I really got into the community, boy, when you sit on Court Street day after day after day.
Was that the one right by Liberty Bank there?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
right. Yeah, I remember that.
So it was fun. It was great fun. I loved it. But it was a lot of work, and I had to get out of that. So I retired, and then I found myself volunteering for the Buttonwood Tree. And we reached a point where our current executive director, Keisha Michael, was ready to step down and have a baby. And so we were at the point where we were kind of in debt, and we kind of weren't doing a whole lot. We didn't know what to do, and some of us wanted to close, some of us wanted to keep going, and so I certainly didn't want it to close. And I said, well, if nobody else is going to do this, then I guess I have to do it. So, you know, you get that little nudge inside you that says, this is what you're supposed to do.
Get that little voice.
You know, I had prayed about it. I have to tell you, I believe God answers prayers, and I prayed, you know, God, find me the right job. And so I truly believe this is a blessing for me, and it's an opportunity for me to help the community in a way that I can actually give back.
Well, thank you so much for the Buttonwood Tree button. Okay, and that's great. So give us the mile high version of what the Button Tree is. I know there are many aspects of it. You've got a bookstore, you've got a performing space, and just give us an overview of that.
Sure. Well, Susan Allison, who started it, was a poet. And so we try to keep poetry alive through various poetry programs, and we're going to be doing some more of that coming up. But in addition to that, we do run a used bookstore, like you said, and we try to keep it open during the day so people can come in during the day if they want to, see the art exhibit. We change out our art. We have like an art gallery, and we change that out about once a month or so. And so then the other thing we do are programs for personal development, programs to help people become more educated in their musical fields or in other fields, for example, like Reiki, and then musical programs. So every weekend, just about every weekend, we have some sort of concerts. Sometimes it's world-class music. Last weekend we had Avery Sharp and Charles Langford, who were world-class jazz musicians, and sometimes it's local folks. We have the House of Moses coming on in November, and
nice.
We have, Dave Houston and Waberi Jordan, who are they live here. We have a very abundant community of talented people who are not professional musicians, but they play music, and they want a place to play.
Right.
And they love it when they can get an audience. So the Buttonwood Tree is that platform that is there for people, for everyday people, to present their creative endeavors, whether it's music or whether it's a workshop on soil, which is coming up soon, or a Reiki class, or a drum circle, or all kinds of things. We do writing workshops, we have poetry classes, we have all kinds of things, and it's really the community coming to the Buttonwood Tree saying, I would like to do this. Can you help me do this?
Sure.
I do very little outreach into the community to say, I want to bring this, I want to bring that. I'm just
People
so
come
busy.
To you.
Yeah,
That's
it's
great.
crazy. And thanks to Steve and Allison, we are sort of on the map as far as musicians go.
Oh, absolutely.
So we get interest from big stars who want to come, and
Sure.
like, well, we don't really have a venue, but we're starting to branch out and utilize bigger venues. For example, we just did a show at Trinity Church recently.
Well, it's funny you mention that, and you say, God works in mysterious ways. Hence, me having you here as a guest. I attended that concert. It was phenomenal. It was really great. Dirty cello. Who would have thought?
I know.
And those musicians, I was talking to both the husband and wife there, and they're from San Francisco.
Yes.
And they came all the way to Connecticut, and the venue obviously had more people than your venue probably would have been able to hold, so that worked out as a good collaboration there.
Right.
Excellent. So how did you get them to come from San Francisco?
They were, the thing is, people already are coming to the East Coast.
Okay.
These people were going to Rhode Island, and we're halfway between New York and Boston. So when people are doing an East Coast tour, a lot of times they'll book their main venue where they're going to make a lot of money, and then they want another venue that they can sort of fill in along the way.
Okay.
And Buttonwood Tree is a great place for them to practice. It's a great place for them to just relax and have a good time. Musicians love our venue because they have a really good time when they play with us.
Yeah, I mean, I've attended a few shows over there, and it's just so intimate, and it's, it has as we musicians call it, a nice vibe.
Yes, it does. It has a great vibe. It has a great vibe.
So anyway, they come and, obviously.
They find us.
They find you.
They find us.
That's great.
And I pick and choose and say yes, 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 no, yes. And one of the things I look for is, are you going to bring an uplifting program? Are you going to bring something that's going to make us feel good?
Right.
It doesn't have to all be happy roses and Snickers, but predominantly positive is what I say.
Sure. No, absolutely. Absolutely. I think, you're going to have to share the contact information with me, because I book entertainment for, quite a few fairs and so forth. As they would be an awesome change of pace style of entertainment for our Portland Fair next year.
Yes. Yes, they're quite visual too.
Well, they are, and especially from the standpoint of their repertoire of music. I mean, it covers from soup to nuts. You've got classical, you've got folk, you've got Aerosmith, you've got
Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin.
I know.
Who would have thought?
Crazy.
Led Zeppelin on cello, but it was awesome. It really was.
It was, yeah.
So anyway, we'll hook up offline, and we can, like I say, next year for the Portland Fair. We obviously didn't have the Portland Fair this year with the COVID, or last year, so we're looking at getting things rolling back with the entertainment thing. So great. So obviously getting the various programs. I mean, how does the Buttonwood sustain itself? I mean, obviously, I think you get some money from the Arts Council and so forth. So other than that, I mean, how do you sustain yourself as far as that goes?
Well, thankfully, members, we have a membership program. So thankfully, the community donates through memberships and donations, and that's a big part of our income. And in fact, pretty much that whole sort of pot of money is matched with the Middletown City's Commission on the Arts grant that we get every year.
Okay.
So that's a big part of our funding. And then we do get some funding from the state. And this year I'm also reaching out, there's other grant monies out there. So I'm like trying to write grants like crazy right now.
Right.
We get actually very little money do we actually make through our programs, through our musical programs.
Yeah.
But we also have open mics, and when you add them all up, it adds up to not a significant amount, but something.
Well,
something.
yeah, but I mean,
it adds up.
You've got expenses. I mean, obviously,
Yes.
you've got rent, you've got utilities, and all of that
Right.
stuff is and especially during the COVID stuff. Okay, that stuff doesn't stop. You
No,
know,
right.
and you have to take it from me. It's
Right.
the bills keep coming.
They do, and most of the money that comes in for our musical concerts goes right back to the artists.
Okay, nice.
So we make a little bit, but most of it, we
Right.
want to take care of. And I'd love to see more money going out to the musicians and the artists.
Right.
Really.
Well, the fact that they are willing to, share their talents and their expertise, like you say, at a, should we say, a much discounted rate?
Yes, it is.
That's huge. That's huge.
It is.
So, your programs, I know you do yoga. In fact, you have to go to a yoga class after you
It's
go.
a laughter yoga class. Yes, we believe in laughter.
Okay, so
Yes.
tell us how that works.
I actually met my husband at laughter yoga.
Really?
Speaking of that, at least 15 marriages have come out of people meeting at the Buttonwood Tree.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Wow.
It's just a great place to meet people. I say only good people come to the Buttonwood Tree. So we're just filled with good people. So do you want to know about laughter yoga? Yes. So
Yes,
laughter
please.
Yoga,
Do tell.
laughter yoga was started in 1995 by Dr. Kataria, who wanted to know if laughter truly was the best medicine. So he did research on it, and you can find all kinds of statistics that show that laughter is very healthy for your body.
Yeah.
It really is. And the thing is, it doesn't matter if you're forcing your laugh or not.
Right.
Your body doesn't know it. So when you force your laugh, you're still getting all those benefits throughout your body. It lowers cholesterol. It's great for your heart. It does so many things.
Really?
Yes. It's amazing, all the things that laughter can do for your body. It really is amazing. So he started gathering people and telling jokes to sort of record how they were feeling and all these different things. And then after a little while, people started getting insulted from the jokes. And he said, no, we better not do this anymore. So he said, well, let's just get together and laugh. So he came up with like little exercises that people will do in their groups to force themselves to laugh.
Okay.
And once they start laughing, then you can kind of keep
kind of
going.
gets infectious. Yeah.
And so it just turns into this laughter fest where you're laughing and you're doing little exercises. So it's not just like you're sitting there laughing.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's very hard to laugh for a long time if just continually laughing.
Right.
Try it sometime. It's hard. But we do things like, for example, in between our laughter yoga exercises, one of them is very good, yay. Now, you think that may be silly, but when you clap your hands like this, you're actually massaging your fingertips and you're stimulating all the nerve endings in your fingers,
Really?
which wakes up your cells and is good for your body.
Get your endorphins running.
And then also when you raise your hands above your head, it releases chemicals and endorphins that also make you feel better. So I say, look, if you don't feel good, try just lifting your hands above your head to start, and then just try to force yourself to smile, because that will also help you to feel better.
Wow.
So all these things just help you to feel better. And they're tools that you can utilize when you feel like crap.
Okay.
Or when you're frustrated. Sometimes when I'm sitting at the computer and I'm frustrated because it's spinning or whatever, I'll force myself to laugh. And it doesn't come out very happy. It's not like, ha, ha, ha. No, when you're frustrated or you're angry or something, it comes out more like, ha, 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 ha. It's really not a pleasant
Buffering. See, now you got me doing it.
I know the interns, they would say, are you okay? I'm like, laughter yoga.
There you go. Now,
So-
now for the yoga, obviously you have to bring your own mat.
No, there's no mats.
There's no mats.
So yoga really means it's a connection of mind, body, and spirit.
Oh, okay.
And it involves breathing. It's all about breathing. And laughter really is about breathing also, because when you're laughing, ideally you're laughing from your belly.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can laugh. And that's the other thing that you learn in laughter yoga is how to laugh and all different types of laughter.
Okay, yeah.
So that let me ask you something. Has something, and I'm sure this has happened, but you might not think about it too often. Has something happened in your life where it was like this miraculous experience where something and something and something else just lined up so perfectly? It was like, wow, did you see that? Or wow, that
Okay.
was great. And you know what you often wind up doing when that happens? You laugh. And I found that by learning these different types of laughter, like ho, 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 like I never used to laugh like that. That's not
Right.
a normal laugh, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you learn all these different types of laughter. So when the universe just lands these miraculous situations and you see these things lining up, so, and synchronicities just line up, you go, You laugh because it's amazing.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to be doing a lot more laughter in the future.
Nice.
And this is getting us ready for that.
So when people come in for laughter yoga, do they sit in a chair? Do they sit on the ground? What you know?
So initially we sit on a chair in a circle,
Okay.
and the teacher, Milen, she's from Canada actually, and she has a lovely little accent. I love the way she says, "Ips, move your ips." But anyway, she'll talk about the origins of laughter yoga a little bit, and we'll stretch also. We'll start stretching our body and just moving. And then we'll get up from the chairs and put the chairs away, and we'll stand and we'll do these little exercises. For example, one is a laughter greeting where you just greet each other. And the other part about laughter yoga is you're always connecting with each other through the eyes.
Okay.
And you're laughing. So
Sure.
you might shake each other's hand and laugh. And you go around to each person and you greet them and you laugh.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And you just go around the room. And then when everybody has sort of greeted each other, we sort of go back into a circle.
Okay.
And we'll do very good, yay. Or the other one is ho, ho, ha, 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 ho. And so we'll do that. And then she'll introduce another little silly thing that will make us laugh.
Okay. Nice. Well,
And
good.
that just goes on
That
and-
might be a class that I can handle, because if I had to get down on the ground, you'd probably have to get a wrecker to get me back up. My God, it's just like the floors.
No mats.
Oh my gosh.
No
Yeah.
mats involved.
And then now, is this a regular class? Is it bi-weekly, weekly, or?
So we've been holding this class for, I think, about 8 years.
Really?
And right now it's switched back to twice a month.
Okay.
She goes to Canada a lot to see her family.
Okay.
So she's not always available. We were doing it twice, and we went to once a month, and now we're back to twice a month on the first and the third Tuesday at 7:00.
Okay. Nice.
And then we end with a little meditation and a little song. You want me to teach you the song? It's really
Sure.
cute.
Absolutely.
I teach this to our kids, and I highly encourage you to remember it and do it as often as you can. It works great doing it in the shower. Sometimes I sing it when I'm walking to the post office or something. It's just really 2 lines.
Okay.
And each line repeats itself twice.
Okay.
But the other part of it is in laughter yoga class, we tap.
Okay.
So you tap your body to wake up its cells. And
Okay.
I mean, there's a whole research and a whole study of tapping, which you
Okay.
can look into. But as we sing this song, we also tap. But I'll not do the tapping for you now because it's a little. But anyway,
Okay. Sure.
so the song goes. I can't believe we're
I
doing
can't
this,
wait for
but-
this. Laughter is good, Anne-Marie.
It is. It is. So it goes. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is happy and well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is happy and well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is happy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is happy and well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is happy and well.
Nice. Nice. I love it. I love it. My cells, I can feel rejuvenated.
You know, our cells think we're God. When we talk to ourselves, they listen.
Sure.
So-
I'm becoming a believer. My God. Okay, so we have yoga. Okay. Tell us a little bit. You also have poetry, correct?
We do poetry, and one of the things that I love is Monday night's open mic.
Okay.
It's called Anything Goes Open Mic. We've been doing it for a long time.
Okay.
And poetry is welcome.
Okay.
About 3 weeks ago, we had 3 young women come up from Milford
Really?
because she had written a poem and she wanted to read it out loud. She had never performed her poetry in public before, and she wanted a place to read her poetry. And the Buttonwood Tree was the only place she could find between here and Milford.
Really? Okay. There you
Not
go.
many places to read poetry
Wow.
out loud, especially at an open mic. So that's one of the things that we do for poetry that I'm really proud about because it just is such a welcoming and accepting platform. We say there's no judgment at the Buttonwood Tree.
Okay.
And the audience is always accepting and encouraging for the people who come up and recite their poems.
Okay.
So everybody leaves and they're so satisfied and they're so just happy to have done that and had that experience. It's really heartwarming.
Wow. Wow. You know, you say poetry now. I mean, maybe I'm the technology coordinator for the town of Portland, and so we end up having to film all of the Board of Selectmen's meetings. And now, with the COVID thing, we had to go, for almost a year on Zoom, and now we're back to hybrid. But anyway, long story short, the town of Portland, appointed. We have a poet laureate in town.
You do. I know him well.
You know Chester? Okay.
Yes.
Najee Chester Paint.
I do.
Okay. Has he been over at your place?
Not yet. He's very busy. His mom's ill right now.
Yeah, I know. I went to school with her mom. Her mom and I graduated high school, Barbara. She's a
sad,
lovely,
yes.
lovely woman, and so forth.
Well, Najee contacted me, I want to say like a year ago. I don't even remember what it was, but it was a while ago. He contacted me and said he wanted to do a poetry contest.
Okay.
So we've been in the works of getting this poetry contest together. In fact, we have a poster up at the Buttonwood Tree that says it's coming.
Okay.
So we're getting the works. I've recruited some judges, and we just kind of put things on hold because of his family situation right now.
Sure.
But I was so proud of him for becoming Portland's poet laureate, and I congratulate you for doing that. I think that's great. I love his poetry. When I first read it, I was like, wow, this is really great. It's really, so many people are just full of complaining, but his poetry really gets to the nitty gritty, but it lifts you up.
It connects
and it's
you.
so positive and
it's
so
powerful.
Encouraging. It is.
Just a little story about Najee. He, of course, as most towns did, on the 911 memorial, we did a program behind the town hall.
Yes.
And Najee, I don't know if you know, but he wrote a poem about that. I'm in the process now of we taped him reading the poem, but we're in the process now of doing some post-production and doing some visuals and so forth. But I tell you, our Veterans Monument, is behind the town hall and so forth. And there were probably, I would say, close to 100 people in attendance. And when he read his poem, you could have heard a pin drop. And he engaged the audience. It was just not, listening to words. He engaged the audience. Mm-hmm. And that's, one of Najee's knacks. He is so... he speaks from the heart.
He's so passionate.
He really does.
He is,
and so forth. And we're gonna, when he comes over, and I would like him to read that over there because I tell you, it was so moving. And we'll come over and film it for you too.
Oh, that'd be very nice.
And so forth. But Najee is just he's an awesome person. He really is. So I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah, I am thoroughly excited and blessed to be working with him because he's just been amazing. And we haven't even met yet in person.
Really?
Have not met in person.
Well,
I wanted to go to that and I couldn't. Had another engagement. I couldn't make it that day. I was so disappointed. And then, but we converse a lot. But
yeah. Well,
so I'm
he's on a list of coming up here for a podcast. So I tell you, when he comes up, I'm going to invite you over.
Okay.
And then
great.
we can do this.
Great.
Whatever. So other types of programs. I know you also have. It's a coffee shop over there, correct? There's so
It's a little coffee shop. I'd like the coffee shop to expand and be more of a coffee shop, actually. But yes, we do serve coffee. We have Slambovian coffee.
Do tell.
Slambovian coffee is made in Slambovia.
Okay.
And Slambovia is where all your dreams come true.
Is that right? Oh my God, this is interesting. Slambovia. We're going to take you on a trip to Slambovia.
So there's a band actually called the Grand Slambovian Circus of Dreams.
Okay.
And they changed my life literally back in 2001. They're very uplifting. They're a family band. They're amazingly talented. And they drink coffee. They say coffee is their drug of choice.
Well,
and
it's the liquid of life. That's what I call it.
Right? Here you go. One of their Sharky's, the guitarist, and his brother-in-law, I believe, runs a coffee
distributorship or whatever.
Yeah, coffee brewing thing.
Oh, okay.
It's not brewing, but it's coffee roasters.
Roasters. Okay, there you go.
And they created their own blend.
Really?
So we are probably one of the only places that publicly serves Slambovian coffee. It's very strong and bold and flavorful. Somebody said it tastes like chocolate, but it must have chocolate undertones or something because I don't quite taste chocolate. I want chocolate, like give me a Milky Way or something.
Yeah, okay. Well,
but anyway,
it's bold.
We do serve Slambovian coffee.
Nice,
yes.
nice.
Yes. So during the day, it's pretty much a place where people can come and hang out. They can use the free Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Sometimes they have meetings there. Oh, I'll meet you up at the Buttonwood Tree, and they'll have meetings. But
nice.
Not a ton happens during the day other than that.
Now, typically, what are the hours that you operate?
Whenever I can get there.
Okay. All right.
I would like to. I try to be there, like 11 to 2 every day, but sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So it's always good to call before you come over. But it's kind of a one-man show. Even though we have tons of volunteers for a variety of things.
Okay.
Every day, it's kind of me there working on things.
Okay, so you're manning the coffee shop, you're manning the gift shop, you're manning this. You're like a one-armed paper hanger.
Yeah, there you go. Yes.
Nice. So exactly. So tell us a little bit about the board of directors. I know you have some very astute members of the board that contribute in phenomenal ways. So tell us a little about that.
Sure. So John Basinger is still on the board. He's he's going to be retiring soon because he's going to be leaving town. He's moving to South Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been there for a long time, and I'm like I said, I'm super grateful to him for all the mentoring he's done and leadership that he's provided, because he recognizes our place in the community and how important we are to the people actually who live there.
Sure.
Because above us are 40 apartments of subsidized housing through the Liberty Commons and through the Connection, their program that they run. And a lot of these people hang out in front of our place. We're right next door to the soup kitchen, so there's a lot of people there. So anyway, he's in tune with all that and sympathetic to their cause, and we try to help them as much as we can. In fact, we have a program coming up where actually a professor who works with Wesleyan students, helping them with what she does is she helps them create their life story and then create a video about it. And she's going to be doing that with some of the people who are outside of the Buttonwood Tree all the time.
Okay.
So that we can get to know them a little better.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, John Basinger, getting back to the board, is one of our members. And then John and Sheila Bell have been on the board, I would say, for the longest after that. They used to live in Middletown right on Pearl Street. They own a couple of houses there, and they recently moved to Clinton.
Okay.
Excuse me. And John is also in the Flower Club, and he's actually bringing in some new people recently, coming in, some new people. I won't name them yet because it hasn't, not official yet, but I'm looking forward to that. And then also on our board is Barry Chernoff, who is a Wesleyan professor of biology, who's been very instrumental in helping us raise funds and guiding us with proper procedure, and he's great with writing letters and things like that. I don't know a lot of the proper protocol for a lot of things, so I have to look to others
guidance.
For that.
Sure.
Yeah. So they've been really great in that regard also.
Well, and again, those are resources that are available to you that can help you.
Right.
Bottom line, yeah.
Right. It takes a village, and boy, I'll
It
tell
really
you,
does.
it really does take a village to run this organization. We have so many great volunteers, and they help out either at the shows, serving coffee or whatever, or during the day putting up posters. I have one poster guy who's been with us for 12 years. He puts posters up at Wesleyan and all up and down Main Street.
Really?
And, yeah, and
Wow.
he appreciates having job to do.
Right, right.
Gives him purpose. So
Now, when musicians come in to perform, is there what we call backline there? I mean, is there,
there is a back line, yeah.
Okay, so you have piano, you have drums, and all of that stuff is there?
Well, we don't have drums. We have conga drums, but we don't have a drum kit.
Okay.
I would love to see one, suspended from the ceiling or something, and then you drop it down, but we don't have room for that.
Okay, all right.
But we do have a beautiful Steinway piano.
I heard. Yes.
That's another story, but I'm grateful for that one.
Wow.
And then we have a great sound system and microphones and all that.
Great. Awesome. Fantastic. Well, I know, obviously, before we came on, I know John is husband to Janine, okay, who is obviously heavily involved in Wesleyan, as you know, and so forth. And, we spoke with before, and I have our television show for the town of Portland, which is called Portland on the Move. And I invited Janine to come on. This was many, many, many years ago. It had to be over 10, 12 years ago. And, we used to do the show back when the Comcast studio was over on Tuttle Road. I don't know if you remember that. Okay.
Yeah, I was there.
Anyway, so we finally, after weeks and weeks, and the show is a once a month show, and after months of trying to get her on, and so I said, Janine, well, how do you run the show? It says, well, you give me questions, and because my students would be basically asking the questions, and I would kind of moderate between. So I don't have time to do that. I don't have time. This isn't my first rodeo. Just ask me questions. Okay, all right. So she came on, and and it was so engaging. And she told a story back. Obviously, they just built a new building for the movie program, and when she floated that idea of building that film complex to Wesleyan board and so forth. Well, where are we going to get the money? We don't have the money to do this. Well, as well as I do, that Janine has connections in Hollywood.
She does, actually. Yes.
And she told us a story. She says, well, after she went to the board, she says, well, what do you think it would cost, to float this program? And, she says, probably $1 million, She says, well, we don't have this program. She says, well, let me see what I can do. So she made a trip to Hollywood, as she tells the story, okay? She came back with commitments of over $1.5 million, okay, from her connections in Hollywood. And I would always remember that and said, wow. But she was just so genuine with my students. They were asking, talking about films, and, she watches films all the time and critiques them and so forth, and hence, the popularity of that program at Wesleyan. So,
it's known worldwide.
Oh, absolutely.
She's amazing.
And
one of the really cool things was one of her protege, Leah Thompson, has students, and for a couple of years, she would have her students do small community projects and make films about things that were happening around Middletown. A couple of them she did around some of the people that were involved in the Buttonwood Tree.
Okay.
And then they would show the previews at the Buttonwood Tree.
Nice.
And it was tremendous to see all these students there and their films, and the place was packed. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
It was great. And to see these young students creating these films on people and restaurants and our teachers, it was just phenomenal. It was such a great thing. People always say to me, well, what does Wesleyan do for you? Well, they don't write big checks, but they are very supportive in a lot of ways.
Right.
And that's one of the ways.
Yes.
Through their programs.
They're intangible ways.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah. I know. Right. Not to mention just some of her alumni are, Michael Bay. You don't get much bigger than that in Hollywood, as far as that goes. And that's one of her students, and many others that have come out of that school that are really very well known in the movie industry in Hollywood on the West Coast. As I say, the left coast.
The left coast. That's cute.
We're on the right coast. They're on the left coast. So anyway, so awesome. That is fantastic. Now, what's next on the agenda for the next few weeks at the Buttonwood Tree? Do tell.
Let's see. You mean as far as programs go?
Sure.
So every Saturday, let me just say, every Saturday we have a wonderful program called Aligned with Source, and my personal, I call Anita my personal guru. She's from India, and she is extremely wise and knowledgeable in all sorts of realms, and from Reiki to reflexology, and she knows all about the stars and the heavens, and when is Mercury in retrograde, Anita, and what do I do, and she's very knowledgeable, and she leads a program every Saturday morning that helps you get in touch with yourself.
Okay.
Helps you learn how to let go of the stuff you don't want, how to embrace the stuff that you do need, how to just be a better person.
Okay.
How to love yourself more.
Wow.
Every Saturday morning, and it's just a fabulous program that it's a group that meets week after week. A lot of people have been coming for years.
Really?
Yes, it's a tremendous program. I don't know how it would be if it grew to huge, but I would love to see it grow because she's so wise and helpful.
Mm-hmm.
It's just helpful.
Okay, sure.
So that's Saturday mornings. But coming up, I should have brought a calendar, but coming up, one of the things that we have is this coming Saturday, we have A Tale of Two Brians, which is Brian Wolf and his band, which is a trio, his wife and Bobo on bass. It's a great it's kind of like folk rock.
Okay.
And then there'll be another band with him. I forget his last name, but all these names after a while, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know
terrible.
the feel.
My mind just goes to mush. But Brian Wolf, I won't forget that. He's a wonderful man out of I think they're out of Chester.
Okay.
Local. It's a local group.
Okay.
And then November 19th we have House of Moses. I don't know if you know the Moses brothers, but they are longtime Middletown musicians, a family that's been in the area for a long, long time and has done so much for the area. And they have all kinds of different people in their group. It's just going to be, they're wonderful. In fact, they're the Middletown Music Ambassadors.
Okay.
I believe this year.
Okay.
And then also on November 12th, we have Lost Tribe, which is another local group. Jocelyn Pleasant, who lives in the former artist co-op across the street from the Buttonwood Tree, is a drummer.
Okay.
And she brings in a whole tribe of drummers, and they do
Okay.
world music. It's going to be wonderful.
Uh-huh.
And then on the 13th, we actually have a hip-hop group. I know this young gentleman who does hip-hop, and it's positive. It's positive in nature, predominantly positive.
Okay.
And so he's going to bring in a few hip-hoppers, and he said to me, usually our shows are 2 hours. They go 8 to 10 or 7 to 9. And he said, do you think we could go a little longer? I said, I think we could arrange that. We like to be flexible. So it'll probably start at 8 and go till 11:30. Who knows? But that's November 13th. And then...
now, typically, there is there admission when for the shows, and typically,
Right.
what's the usual fare for admission?
Well, it goes for like from 10 to 25.
Okay.
For example, Avery Sharp was 25, and we're going to have another show December 10th, which I'm really excited about. Eric Mintel. Eric Mintel Quartet is out of Philadelphia.
Okay.
One of those groups that was really too big to come to the Buttonwood Tree, not as far as size or sound, but as far as where they were in the world. They had played at the White House.
Wow.
And they play Carnegie Hall. They play all these wonderful venues. And the first time that we spoke, we talked for like 45 minutes, and I told him, we're a small community center and blah, blah, blah. And after talking for 45 minutes, he was like, all right, we'll come do it for you.
Wow.
And he loved the space so much, he's come back every single year since.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Now, what as far as the demographics of your attendees, where is it primarily younger, older, mixed? How does that work?
I have to say it's predominantly older.
Okay.
The Buttonwood Tree is not a bar. It is a listening room.
Okay.
So when you go there, you're not going to chit-chat with your friends, although you do chit-chat with your friends.
Right.
The main focus is you're listening to music.
Okay.
So generally what we see is an older audience, but then it ranges all over the place. At the Avery Sharp, there were 2 Wesleyan students there. So it can be anything, and I also encourage people to bring their kids. I say live music is great for kids, and because the Buttonwood Tree is set up into 2 rooms, kids can come and watch the show, and if they get fidgety, if they don't want to sit anymore, they can go in the bookstore and go play a game or go play a game of chess.
Okay.
Or watch it on the TV, you know. So it works great for families, especially if your child is in classes, you know, music classes.
Right, right.
It's great for them to go see a professional musician in concert.
Sure, sure. Now, do you normally film the performances that you or you record it? Okay.
Right now, we are working. We are actually partnered with Middlesex Community College.
Okay.
To get some of their videography interns who are
Sure.
now helping us to record the
Well, I
programs.
think Dan Osera is still over there at Middlesex, isn't he? Yes. In fact, he was a student of ours at Portland High School many, many years ago.
Wow.
And he's really done phenomenal work over there. He really does, and has got, the studio is really world class over at Middlesex.
Yeah, they have some nice programs over there.
Yeah, they really do. And so, yeah, if you can hook up with some of their interns as far as that goes, yes.
Right.
Phenomenal.
Both Middlesex and Wesleyan work with us on work study programs.
Okay.
So they get federal funding to pay their students, and the students come and work at the Buttonwood Tree.
Okay.
So
All
that's
right.
been a tremendous help.
Well, I teach a technology class at the high school, and we have a podcast studio at the high school, and so forth. And a lot of times, parents, will reach out to me as far as because most students, from a standpoint of high school students, are required to have community service hours. So a lot of times they'll call me and say, "Hey, do you have any ideas on community service hours?" So I can, hello,
Buttonwood.
hello, Buttonwood.
Yes.
Come on down. you know.
Yes, I have a Middletown High School student working right now with us for community service, and she's phenomenal. She's great.
Yeah, that's great. And a lot of high schools, and Middletown probably is pretty much the same thing too. But usually all seniors are required to do what they call a capstone project. So a capstone project can vary from I had one of our students here. In fact, she teaches banjo here. What her capstone project when she was high school, she did a bluegrass festival up at the riverfront.
Wow.
And she coordinated with, four or five bands
Nice.
that came out and so forth.
That's great.
And that was her capstone project.
That's
and so
wonderful.
forth. And we had another one of our students built benches for our airline trail, and so forth out there and
Nice.
so forth.
Yeah.
But to go from there.
Amazing what young people can do.
Oh yeah, they get creative, and it benefits the community, benefits everybody, and it gives them an opportunity to really experience in some real life stuff, as far as that goes.
Right.
I know our class at the high school is basically, we host and maintain websites. We do, we film the Board of Education meetings. We film the selectmen's meetings. We built a Zoom studio, so to speak, at our Buck Foreman Community Center. When everybody had to adapt to the Zoom meetings, and everything was, shut right down as far as that goes. Now, how did you guys get through the COVID? As far as that, I mean, were your doors shut pretty much, or?
Well, the doors were physically shut, but after about 2 or 3 months, we started doing programs on Zoom.
Oh, okay.
So we did a Line with Source on Zoom, which is still on Zoom.
Okay.
Because actually one of the members comes from Mexico.
Oh, okay.
And we still do we were doing open mics once a week, but we
Okay.
have two open mics. Now we have 3 open mics.
Okay.
So the Anything Goes open mic on Monday is now strictly in person on Monday nights.
Okay.
Although some of the weeks we do Facebook Live.
Okay.
We stream it Facebook. And then the other one on Thursday nights, what Bob Gatta has been doing an acoustic. It's actually the longest continually running open mic in the state of Connecticut.
Really? Bob's been
Really.
around a long time.
Bob's been around a long time.
Yeah.
And before COVID, he was doing once a month, the first Thursday. And then once COVID hit and we sort of got acclimated to the Zoom thing, he was doing Zoom every week.
Okay.
And now he's doing it in person on the first Thursday.
Okay.
And then some of the other Thursdays on Zoom.
Okay. Now, typically, how long is an open mic? Is that 2 hours? 1 hour?
Usually 2.
Yeah,
Mondays
okay.
is 3 hours.
3 hours. Okay.
Yep. And then we have another open mic called the Human Room Open Voice.
Okay.
And that's on Sundays, the second Sunday from 4 to 7. It's also 3 hours because it's a 3-stage platform. It's a regular open mic. Then there's an hour where nonprofits can talk about what their missions are.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's sort of an introduction to nonprofits. And then the third one is for just anybody to say anything, as long as it's all based in benevolence.
Okay.
And everything has to be based in benevolence. That has to be your goal for sharing what you're sharing is out of benevolence for the world.
Okay.
And
That
that's
works.
called the Human Room Open Voice. Yes.
Wow. And that's on Sunday night. What time is that, sir?
That's Sunday 4 to 7, and
Okay.
that's also on Zoom.
Okay. So obviously you get there, obviously at 11 to 2 or so forth. Then you have to come back in the evening and so forth for the. Is that how that works? Or-
Yes, right. On Friday and Saturdays, right.
So you got a long week.
Right. It is a long week, yes. It is a very long week.
It's not like a 9 to 5 job. And
Definitely not.
Oh my God.
No, definitely not. That's why I started actually working on Mondays, going in at 4 and working, because I usually don't get out till like 11 or so.
Okay.
And then, so I was going in at 10 in the morning, and it was just like, this is too long.
That's a
Can't
long
do
day.
this.
That's
I'd like to see my husband and
yes.
my family.
Yeah. Now, is your husband involved in any way down there? Or?
He was doing a lot of manning the door before COVID, and
Okay.
now he's so busy with his construction. He's a carpenter and contractor that he pretty much nighttime comes and he's ready for bed. So
Yeah. Come on,
hasn't been too much
stick a
fun.
fork in me. I'm done.
But we met, But we met at Laughter Yoga, and
Nice.
we've been laughing ever since.
Hey, that's all it counts, man. It is all it counts. So, oh, that's great, Anne-Marie. I think I've been. You drive by the Buttonwood Tree. You have a very nice exhibit of band instruments that are
Yes, that's my husband also.
adorn the
Yes.
front of the building, which is so.
Make sure you stop and see the instrument man and the instrument lady. They're actually people constructed out of the brass instruments.
Okay.
And it's pretty cool.
Nice.
The lady's really
now,
cool.
who puts those sculptures together? Your
Oh,
husband?
my husband did that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So he gets out the old soldering and.
They're not actually soldered. I know you'd think so, but he's like screwed them and bolted them all together.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
It's crazy. You should see our basement. He's got this vibrational awareness chamber down there that's made out of all these horns, and he plays all these, he's got some Tibetan bowls and the drums, and
Really?
yeah, he's a percussionist by nature. So
wow.
he's got all these things that just vibrate. It's pretty cool.
Wow. Crazy. So
Yeah.
obviously he has his, the timbales and the congas and the
Yep.
tablas. Okay.
Yep,
That's
a lot of little things.
That's
I
a
don't even know the
hard
names of all
instrument
of
to
them.
play, the tabla.
I don't know if he has a specific tabla. I don't know about that, but he's got lots of things.
Yeah,
I don't know.
percussion things. So anyway, that's great. Fantastic.
Anyway,
Great. Well, look, hey, is there anything else that you want to go over? I think,
well, the other day I got a call from Leaf Sorbet, and Leaf is the leader of Tempest. I don't know if you know Tempest, but they're a Celtic rock band.
Okay, I've heard that name before. Okay.
Well, we presented them twice before,
Okay.
and they want to come back April 1st.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to decide where.
Okay.
Because they're, I need space for about 100 to 150 people at least.
I'll come over to Portland,
So-
Trinity Church.
Maybe so.
I'll work on Jim and Carol up there.
Maybe so.
We can
It's it'll be a lively night. And the last time they came, actually 2 last times, we had some Scottish dancers from the dance school in town
Nice.
come and do a little warm up for us. It was very nice. Yes.
Yeah.
So lots of big things. I'll be partnering with more organizations to bring concerts to larger venues and more great shows. It's hard to beat the intimacy at the Buttonwood Tree to have a small show, but also we get so many requests
Sure.
for shows that really have a bigger audience.
Okay.
So we need to branch out a little bit.
Well, I think maybe we can do some collaboration because a lot of times, I'm looking for intimate spaces that our students can perform. So.
Oh, we do a lot of recitals actually with Middlesex Music Academy.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
All right.
And
And
they do recitals there. It's a great place to do a recital.
yeah, no, we hook up. We have been doing them at the Portland Senior Center, which is a nice room over there and so forth. And but yeah, that is great. I don't know if you've met our new. We just hired a new senior director who is Lynn Tracy. I don't know. She's
Lynn Tracy?
yes.
I know Lynn Tracy.
Yeah, she's
she actually just did the guitar giveaway and free guitar class
yes.
at the Buttonwood Tree.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yes,
she's our new senior director.
Wow, well, good for you.
So
That's great.
and she's you know, brings a lot to the program for the seniors. She's been coordinating an open mic night over here now.
Wonderful.
As far as that goes. So
That's terrific.
very, very energetic, lovely person, and
Yes.
and she it's funny. I mean, when she first started work, she knew me as the IT director for the town of Portland. So then she says, I just found out you own the music store. We got to get together and jam.
Yes,
So
yes.
I said, sure, we can do that.
Yes, jamming is fun.
To get together and, music is, it's just so uplifting and, as you're saying, healing and going from there. But I think, your mission statement as far as in relation to what been able to do with the Buttonwood Tree has really enriched the arts aura and the vibe in Middletown. And thank you so much for doing what you do.
Thank you. Yes, it's like I said, it's a blessing that I can do it, and I see it's so needed. So many people come to me wanting space to do their
Sure.
stuff. It's just amazing how many talented people are out there, and when they do it, not only do they benefit, but then everybody listening also benefits.
Oh, absolutely.
Music is such a healer and such a connector of the human spirit.
It's a win-win for everybody.
It is.
So,
It is.
But anyway, I'm just going to throw it out. I mean, if you have any ambition to starting a podcast, we have the facility here. You're more than welcome to do that.
Thank you.
We can go from there.
We have thought about it. We have thought about doing a podcast.
We have video. We have, in fact, behind the black curtain there, we have a green screen. So, so we're decked out.
Well, thank you. That's great. Yeah, you do have a nice little studio here. Good for you.
So it works out, and it's been working very well. This was kind of a premonition. We did our audition here in kind of 3 phases, and this was originally just going to be a storage space, and I said, I think we can utilize the space a little better. And
good for you.
It really has worked out very well, and
That's
it's
great.
we can go from there. But John, who is I'm filling in for tonight, has he is very, very well known throughout the state and the on the Northeast as one of the premier percussionists and drummers, and has played with everybody and anybody as far as that goes. So, and unfortunately, he was under the weather tonight. So, I get the pleasure of interviewing you tonight. So again, thanks for coming over. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. My honor to be here. Thank you. I'll have to come back when John's in the room.
Yes.
And so I'll have to tune in some more. But thank you so much for it. It was a great time. I appreciate it. And the board's always looking for new members. So
sure. And we'll get the Buttonwood Tree website up on the post production. We'll probably get this up after I do the post. It'll probably be up Friday.
Wow,
or so you can check it out on our website. We're basically on all of the channels. We're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, we're on Castbox, we're on Anchor. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can get them. Go from there.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Anyway, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that about does it here at the Connecticut Valley School of Music podcast studio, and we were very, very fortunate to have the executive director of the Buttonwood Tree in Middletown, Ms. Anne-Marie Cannata McEwen. So, Anne-Marie, thanks so much. Hope you had a good time.
I did. It was fun.
And enjoy your coffee mug. So,
thank you.
Anyway, so, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up our podcast for this week. Stay tuned every week for the John Peckman podcast. I'm filling in for John. He's a little bit under the weather tonight, so you can check us out. And again, subscribe and like. Thanks so much. We'll see ya. Bye-bye. If you'd like to start your own podcast, give us a call at Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. Our professionally designed podcast space is here for all your recording needs. Rent out our studio to do interviews with up to 4 people, to record audiobooks, social media content, and all other recorded material. Our rentals include a private studio along with our professional-grade podcasting equipment, and we can customize your output to whatever your needs are. We also have green screen capabilities, which will expand to video capability if you so wish. So check us out here at convalley.net/podcast.